So let's say you're the type of pilot who likes to taxi up on the ramp and attract a lot of attention, and hey, isn't that all of us? After all, we ain't spending all this money on airplanes to be ignored. If you're that kind of guy, I've got just the airplane for you, and here it is. This is the Waco YMF-5F. F is for floats, and this is not a restored airplane. This is new production made by the Waco Aircraft Company in Battle Creek, Michigan. And look at this, Peter Bauer, just like I planned it, is over here standing in front of the airplane.
Hey, Paul.
So Peter, give us a tour of this airplane.
Nice to see you.
Let's start with explaining the basic Waco airplane itself, the YMF-5D, the land version, and then we'll talk about the floats.
Sure. So what we've done is we've taken the YMF-5D and put it onto floats, and the advantage of using the new 5D starts up front with a new recently approved MT composite propeller, which you see right here. Of course, the new 300 horsepower engine, which was a big feature of the YMF-5. And then moving aft, improved systems, improved serviceability, improved avionics, improved systems like the trim system is dramatically improved in other aspects of the airplane.
Now we should mention here, explain that what the 5D, where it comes from. It comes from the original Waco DMA.
Over the years, we introduced improved variants of the airplane. I mean, the Waco today is kind of like a Porsche 911. You can go buy a brand new 911, but it's not the same as a 1960s 911. So we've continued to evolve the airplane, and then periodically we do a big change, and that's when we introduce a new letter to the Waco alphabet. I mean, we're always refining the airplane. Every serial number, there's a host of small changes, and again, small incremental changes making a much bigger product for the customer at the end of the day. Changes in this airplane start with this new propeller and continue through the engine compartment all the way back through the airplane.
Okay, so we've got the improved Waco YMF-5 on floats. Why floats, and tell us about the floats.
Well, floats are just fun, and selfishly, when we started this project here a year and a half ago or so, I had just recently gotten my float rating and was bouncing around lakes in northern Michigan thinking, this is really fun flying. And Waco was all about making fun airplanes for people that put smiles on people's faces and their passengers, and are often once-in-a-lifetime experiences for a lot of those passengers. So the float plane is just all about fun. With the amphibious floats, it gave us a really functional airplane. Not only is it a really great amphibious or water airplane, but on land, it's the easiest landing Waco you'll ever fly.
Give us a tour of the float.
Okay, so the floats are composite. They're made in Idaho by Aeroset, and these are the 35 or 3400L models, and the L stands for landing gear. So we have 4 wheels on the airplane. You've got the full castering nose wheel, and then in the back, center of the floats, you have the main wheels, and those have a nice Oleo trailing link suspension system, so they're extremely soft. Okay, continuing back here, you'll notice all of the hardware is stainless steel. So this airplane really can work great in saltwater environments as well. So with all the the hardware, stainless steel flying wires, all the cabling, all the fasteners on the airplane are stainless steel. When we built this airplane and designed the float plane, we were cognizant of saltwater operations. So we made a lot of changes underneath the skin to protect it from corrosion, both on the airframe side and of course the floats being composite, you have no corrosion concerns here as well. The floats have 6 buoyancy compartments. In addition, they have a very nice and large storage compartment here on both sides. You can put 100 pounds of gear in here. Moving on back, we have step access on the left side, and then on the forward right side as well. And then the rudder system here are water rudders, and we even have the anodes for saltwater operation. Like all amphibious float planes, the airplane sits pretty tall off the ground, and this gives us clearance not only for docking, but it's just also the nature of the beast with an amphibious airplane. So to get into it for yourself or passengers, you just simply climb right up here. And there's a nice large wing walk area here for loading passengers through the front door, or you can come down the back as well.
So yeah, I flew the Waco, and I'll admit to being intimidated, if not, well, a little nervous. You can bust your tail just climbing up on the thing. The Waco is big and at 3,200 pounds, heavy. When things go bad in amphib airplanes, they really go bad. And a biplane on floats isn't exactly a docile light sport. But actually, as it turns out, it's probably more docile than a typical light sport, starting with taxiing. What might give a little pause is that big 1930s tail draggers like the Waco can hide surprises. Say giant bounces on landing followed by nasty ground loops. But you will have noticed that the Waco on floats isn't a tail dragger, but more like a giant copter dolly. Other than limited visibility forward, it handles as precisely on the ground as a tricycle gear airplane.
So you probably come off the throttle just a little. And this thing's like a big shopping cart, you know, so.
Yeah, but it's really precise. I mean, I'm surprised how easily it taxis. We're going to take a left here?
Correct, left, and we're going all the way down there, yeah.
All right. With 300 horsepower, you'd expect to need a bunch of right rudder on takeoff, but nope. Little stabs of rudder keep it aligned, and the slightest tug on the stick rotates it. You might expect heavy control forces, but nope, wrong again. While it's not fingertip light, I'd call it pleasant to fly. One thing I noticed about the Waco is that even with those big tubs hanging off the struts, or maybe because of them, the airplane is surprisingly trim stable. The trim control is this little 1930s style car window crank. It's very precise. Trim it hands off and the airplane flies on rails. That's true after takeoff and is especially true on landing, whether on the runway or on the floats. For water landings, just set up the trim speed of about 75 to 85 miles per hour and use the glassy water technique of allowing the airplane to settle on the aft two-thirds of the floats. It settles in the water and putters along nicely at idle. You can pull the carb heat to slow it further. Like most amphibs, the water rudders deploy with a cable arrangement in the cockpit. All manual, no electrics or hydraulics. For water takeoffs, the Waco runs about 15 seconds. As amphibians go, that's pretty good. I expected to get a face full of spray, but look at this. Even the wing-mounted camera stayed dry. That's good because it probably indicates that the prop won't get a lot of spray erosions, as is the case with many amphibians. Waco cruises at about 100 miles per hour on 14 gallons per hour. Bring a jacket. It's cool in both holes, but perfect during the summer. It's got a little over 2 hours of endurance with reserve, so don't be in a hurry to get anywhere. The cockpit is digital modern with a Garmin G5 and ADS-B in and out through a Garmin GTX 345 transponder. It also has a Garmin digital Navcom. It has leather seats and cool teak decking for floorboards. So why would you want one of these things? Why wouldn't you want one? After you land, you'll be a chick magnet and everyone will buy you free drinks. Of course, if you have to ask what it costs, you can't afford it. But on the slim chance that you can, the price is $595,000 complete. Find out more about it at wacoaircraft.com. For AvWeb, I'm Paul Bertorelli reporting. Thanks for watching.